could be negative matter. We don't have examples of negative matter, but negative matter is equivalent to negative energy. And we have examples of negative energy. We find that in quantum field theory, and that was invented back theoretically in 1965 and published in a peer-reviewed journal called Nuevo Cemento. And that's an Italian journal, or a Portuguese journal, I think. And however, Henrik Casimir, a Dutch physicist, posited a waveguide or a cavity of two plates that are like 1 micrometer apart, a micron. And a conservative force of attraction would appear between those plates and cause the plates to collapse. Well, that's vacuum energy. So I'm going to fast forward into quantum field theory, and we discovered that is a vacuum energy effect, and the energy density is negative. And there you go. Negative matter has equivalent negative energy through E equals mc squared. So we know negative vacuum energy exists. We see it in modified laser beams. Even the planet Earth creates a zone of negative vacuum energy around it because it's distorting the quantum fluctuations in space around it. The sun does that. Galaxies do that. Even the protons in your body do that. But the energy is very feeble. So somehow the UFOnauts are able to develop, or they have developed a technology to be able to extract negative vacuum energy out of the quantum vacuum and deploy it like a warp bubble. And then we have Alcubierre's warp drive. And the warp bubble is what gives it its levitation effect, the anti-physical effects that we see in UFOs like levitation, anti-gravity, and the rapid accelerating motions where you can turn 90 degrees without stopping or slowing down, that kind of thing. Energy. So you were asking about the type of energy output. Hillebrand von Lüttinger was a physicist. I think he's not with us anymore. And he was a physicist who was part of CEPRA's Japan. And CEPRA was the aerospace organization of the French government. And Japan is the official UFO scientific investigating agency of France, of the French government, and it still is. And he looked at the best UFO cases in Europe, and there were a lot of people who got spectrum and high quality photographs with luminosity measurements that you could take off the photograph or off of the spectrum. And in one particular case, he was able to estimate the power output, the luminosity of the light being emitted by a UAP, UFO, and estimated in that wavelength of light that was being recorded what the power was. I don't remember what the number is, but I know that based on my estimates of doing this kind of study with my graduate students at Baylor University, we estimated that the amount of power to be produced, to produce a warp bubble, is probably 1,000 to 10,000 times more energy than the US produces every year. And if you know that UFOs range anywhere from 40 feet, maybe a little smaller, up to even 600 feet, that would require an atomic pile or a nuclear fusion reactor that doesn't exist in our technology. And so it's beyond us. But that's our best physics guesstimate. That's our best physics guesstimate. And we're using it from the concept, from the frame of mind of quantum field theory and general relativity. So we know we can't do this using standard atomic theory, nuclear theory, quantum mechanics. We have to go even further into the more advanced layers of those theories and try to make educated guess on what is propelling these things, what type of method of propulsion is created, and what type of energy goes into it. But it doesn't mean we've got the right answer. It just means this is what it looks like from our science, but it may not be our science. And that's where we come up to it. So we have craft. The majority of the recovered UAPs is from the maritime environment. The ones that landed on ground, some were wreckage, most of them were landed. One of them was just landed and the occupants walked away from it because they gave it to us. They literally delivered it to us as a gift. And we've not been successful in reverse engineering any of it. And talking to the senior vice presidents of at least one of the major aerospace corporations and the security officer of another aerospace corporation, and people who I worked with at the Aerospace Corporation, which is an FFRDC of the Air Force and the Space Force and the NRO. I gathered that they have been able to, the laboratories have been able to understand how these things are constructed, but we don't have the manufacturing technology to emulate that. And we're not even close. And they don't recognize a propulsion and power system in these things. And that's the big problem. We're not there yet. Our physics may be correct, but we're looking at it within the limited scope of human knowledge, of the human ability to explore the theories of our physics. And that parameter space could be quite large, and it could take decades or centuries before we invent the technologies to be capable of exploring the rest of that parameter space within our theories. And there's always the possibility that we haven't uncovered new theories yet. We haven't made new discoveries that will emerge, from which will emerge the type of physics and engineering that the UAP craft are built on. And so, and this doesn't contradict anything Brenda talked about. This actually, Brenda was talking about, I can't paraphrase what she said, but essentially we do have hard craft, and the NHIs are real. There's also NIHs, non-intelligent humans, but anyway. the ones in Washington, D.C. that I have to deal with.
Yeah, right.